Good evening, everyone. For you at home, tonight is our first debate on the local scene for the town council. Merrimack Business Association welcomes everybody here, especially all the candidates. As some of you know or do not know, Merrimack Business Association started 6 years ago, helping local businesses with any advice and procedures that we can help from local leaders within Merrimack, founded by Dave McCray and myself. Tom Young, Phil Strait, and candidate Mike Malzone. So don't hold that against them tonight where there's no impartiality going on here. It's important to note that the business community coming together, and one of the things I want to stress upon to everybody at home is people who are in this room, the people that you're seeing on the stage, it takes a lot of courage and a lot of work to do what they do. And I'm putting a shout out to people at home who are watching, because if you are watching and paying attention, then you're the type of people we need to join some of our boards in town, planning board and zoning board. I put that pitch out there because if you are paying attention to local politics, and whether it's 2,000 people that show up on Tuesday or 3,000 or more, you're the people who belong in one of these committees working and helping the community. Because believe me, when you're involved like that, you just normally smart business decisions and smart politics seem to rule the day. So that's my little pitch on that. Welcome all of you. Tonight Dave has a series of questions. I believe there are going to be 7. We try to keep the question count a little on the lower side, so we make sure, because there were so many, that everybody would have a little time to speak on the important issues. So once again, thank you for coming. And Dave McCray.
Okay, just for starters, I'd like to welcome everyone here. Nancy Harrington, on my left, Tom Koenig, Tom Mahon, Mike Malzone, Lynette Peterson, Alex Parada, Jody Valancourt, and Lon Woods. Again, our moderator will be Tom Young this evening, and the closing remarks at the end will be Phil Strait. So once they're all done, stay here because you never want to miss what Phil has to say. We're looking for opening remarks to be 2 minutes. We're not going to have anyone with a stopwatch. Closing remarks will be 1 minute. And we're hoping to be out of here about 8:15. At 8:30, we will be out of here. If we have to shut down a few of the questions, we will. Again, we're looking for thoughts, where you see Merrimack and your philosophies. And that's basically it. Again, there'll be no timing. This is all a group of people that have been around a long time. Alex is a newcomer, but I'm sure he knows how it goes. And so we're here to let people at home and let people here know where you stand on the issues. With that being said, I'll introduce Tom Young, who will be the moderator for the evening.
Okay, thank you, Dave. And thank you to all, 8 of you for running. And I do hope everyone watching, as well as everyone who isn't watching, does remember to vote. That's fundamental to our society. So with that aside, let's get right into it. We will start with opening remarks. As Dave said, we'll proceed from Nancy and then clockwise. So Nancy, if I could get you to give a couple of minutes of opening remarks, please.
Very well. First of all, I want to thank the Merrimack Business Association for holding this evening. And I want to thank everybody who's sitting here for putting themselves on the ballot. It only exemplifies how truly interested you are in maintaining the quality of life here in Merrimack. And I want to thank you for that. Again, I'm Nancy Harrington. I've lived in Merrimack since 1972, a couple of years. And I've been on the town council for the last 3 years, but I was the last selectman, but I was also the first town council when the charter was changed. We went to the town council method. For the last almost year, unfortunately, I've also been the chair, and I say unfortunately because I only acquired that position in the passing of our chairman, Dave Yakubov. At that point, it was baptism by fire. I learned a lot of the behind-the-scene nuances that a chair has to do in terms of parliamentary procedure and setting up agendas. So I've learned, although I've been on the council for a while, that position certainly teaches you a lot. So that's been very good education for me in the last year. Why am I running? Fundamentally, I care about Merrimack. That's why I started, and that's what I want to continue to do. And as we all know, the Merrimack has gone through growth and will continue to grow. And I would like to be part of that decision-making as we grow. So I'm not taking the 2 minutes, but that's fundamentally what I want to say. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Nancy. And next, Tom Koenig, your opening remarks, please.
Great. Thank you very much, Tom, and thank you to the Merrimack Business Association for having this forum. I think it's great to have an opportunity for people to meet the candidates, to know who we are and what we are and why we are. Like Nancy, I was one of the last selectmen and the first town councilors because I also was on the board when it transitioned to a town council. I took a little hiatus from the town council for a while, but I've been back on for quite a few years now. And so I'm here again today asking you to re-elect me for another 3-year term on the town council. My background, I moved to Merrimack in 1991, so I'm a newcomer. It's only been 20-something years, but I'm very interested in the community. I'm very interested in what's going on, and instead of being one of those people that complains, I decided to be one of those people that helped provide solutions for the town. And so I've been involved from when I got involved originally with the school board, on the planning and building committee, on the planning programming committees back in 1995, I think it was, when we did some expansions through those things, through the budget committee, and then on the town board of selectmen and the town council. So I've been involved for quite a while. My family enjoys it here in Merrimack. We love being here, and we love Merrimack. We're trying to do the right thing. So I have a lot of integrity, or at least I feel I have a lot of integrity, and one of the best things that I bring to the council is the opportunity to ask questions, to ask those questions that I wanted to ask when I was watching outside and that you might want to ask, to really understand what's going on and why we're making decisions. And that's why I would like to be reelected to the town council. Thank you.
Tom, thank you. And now we have yet another Tom. Like everyone in here is named Tom, it seems like. I'm reminded of that Monty Python sketch where everyone's named Bruce. I don't know if you get that reference. But anyway, Tom, you're next.
Thank you. And also my thanks to the association for this opportunity. I'm seeking a 1-year term, the remainder of Dave Yakubov's term. And I've been on the council since 2006. And one of the reasons I was on the council in 2006 is because I chaired the Charter Commission, which developed the charter form of government we have at the present time with a town council and a town manager. I've also served on the budget committee, the school board, school district clerk, and the 4th of July committee, and a bunch of other public offices in the community over the time that I've lived in Merrimack. Obviously, I'm committed to the community. I always have been. My parents were very involved in our community when we were young, and they always instilled in myself and my sisters the requirement to give back to the community that you live in. And also, as Thomas said, you can't sit there and throw popcorn at the TV screen and not get up and want to do something. And if you don't want to do something about it, then it's one of the difficulties that you'll have to deal with. So I've dealt with those particular issues. I've had a lot of experience in local government. I retired from my employment in 2011, and in that I worked a lot with local governments when I worked for New Hampshire Public Risk Management Insurance Group, and I did a lot of work for them. And worked a lot, and I bring that experience and that understanding of local government to the charter. I'm an Army and Vietnam veteran. I also have life memberships in the American Legion and the VFW, and because of my public service in the community, the Rotary recognized me with the Paul Harris Award in 2010. And with that, I thank you all very much for your consideration.
Excellent. Thank you, Tom. And moving right along, your thoughts, Mike.
Yeah, thank you. And obviously, a big shout out to the Merrimack Business Association. As Dave said, I am one of the founding members of that, too. Been in town over 20 years and been very involved in the community. Much like everyone else up here, we like to pay attention and we like to have a voice that's out there. I was on the town council from '06 to '09. That was part of the tax revolution in the town of Merrimack after we were going through very heavily and large increases for a couple of 3 years in a row. Got out there and started the conservative movement that's been going on. And I'd have to say it's been pretty continuous since then. We do have increases on our tax bills in town, but they're not like the $6 or $8 or $1,000 a year increases that we have had in the past. Been involved in starting the Business Expo in town, involved with Merrimack Rocks, chairman of the Ethics Committee in town. So I like to give back to the community. It's a good town. I'm happy to plant my roots in this town. There's a lot of good people in Merrimack. And was very involved in the presidential election of 2012. And after a big defeat, kind of put my head down for a little bit and worked 7 days a week for the last couple of years to try and save up some more money again as we went through the recession, which before 2006 I did call, and that's why I was for fiscal restraint in the town, because I saw the concrete stop going in the ground and saw what was coming. It kind of was scoffed at the time about it, but it certainly did happen, and we're trying to ease out of it now. It's a very long one. I want to give back. The new formal government, well, the formal government that we're in now, the town charter, I feel that I don't have as much of a voice of what goes on in the town as opposed to I did when there was a selectman. So that's why I'm running here today. I would like to have another voice again on how money is spent in this town. It's a good portion of that. Between the school and the town, we got $100 million in cash that the town spends. And I'd like to be a little bit more responsible and have a point of view on how it gets spent. I think debate is very good for any business, any community. It's always good to sit around a round table and listen to have other people have different ideas as opposed to all agreeing with one another, and going forward with what was put on. Looking for the votes. I hope a little bit more people are interested this year. We usually get about 2,000 people in a local election, which is extremely sad considering we probably had 16,000 for a presidential election. We're a very large town, and to only see a little over 2,000 people is sad. So whether you vote for me or you vote for anyone up here, I'm asking you to at least please get out there and vote. Thanks a lot, Tom.
Okay, thank you, Mike. And next we have Lynette Peterson.
Thank you for the opportunity to be here tonight, and thank you to the Exchange, the Association, for the time this evening. 5 years ago, I made the decision not to sit back and let others call the shots for me. I'll start over. 5 years ago, I made the decision not to sit back and let others call the shots. As a virtual unknown in Merrimack, I decided to run for state rep. Other than my neighbors and fellow church members, I was a non-entity in Merrimack. I had to get my name out there, convince people to vote for me. At that point, I had never served on a board or a council. I lacked experience, but not the drive. I served Merrimack for 4 years, to the best of my ability, serving on the demanding Judiciary Committee, and served as the clerk of Judiciary for 2 years. In my 4 years as a state rep, I never voted to increase a tax or a fee, and I never voted for a new tax or a fee. 3 years ago, I applied for a sales associate position at the Reebok store in the Merrimack Premium Outlet Mall. The store manager said I lacked experience, but he'd give me a chance. Before that first summer was over, I was his lead producer as a part-timer, even outselling his full-time staff. My goal at the Merrimack Outlet Mall was that the better the mall does, the better Merrimack will do. I'm hardworking, I'm a fast learner. My work ethic speaks for itself. I give 110% no matter what I'm doing. My character and integrity is what's on the line, and I don't compromise. I do not claim to know the ins and outs of Merrimack, nor do I totally understand all that the budget entails. But I can tell you that I do not compromise with Merrimack residents, their tax dollars, or the quality of life in Merrimack. Last year, I sat with Eileen, our town manager, for 2 hours talking over the budget. We went line by line through the budget, and to this day I can tell you I still do not understand the budget. Unless you sit in on the budget and listen, you will never totally understand what the finished product is. The one thing I can say if I'm elected, I will not vote for a tax or a fee increase. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynette. And next we have Alex Parada.
Good evening. Thank you to the Merrimack Business Association for having us all here tonight. I am a little bit newer than Tom is. I've been a Merrimack resident for 3 years now. I moved here with BAE Systems. I've worked for BAE Systems for almost 5 years. Served in the marketing and finance area. And when I moved here, I first rented. I had to, find a place to live. Was it Manchester? Was it Nashua? Was it Merrimack? I ended up renting in Merrimack and fell in love with the place. I bought a house a year later, and I've been in Merrimack ever since. It's a great town. Our current town councilors must be doing something right because I enjoy being here, and they've made it a great place to live, and the Merrimack residents have been a great place to live. When my girlfriend and I moved in, we kind of knew it was the right place when our neighbors showed up at the door with an apple pie. So we have really excellent neighbors, and we've really grown to love the people of Merrimack and the people of New Hampshire. I teach for the State Fire Academy. I teach a community emergency preparedness class, and I have more time now. So I'd like to, I don't have all the great the privilege of serving on all the great committees yet, but I hope to become more involved. And so I'm here today asking for your vote for town councilor. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. And next we have Jody Valancourt. Jody?
Thank you, Tom. I too would like to thank the Merrimack Business Association for this opportunity. I'd like to thank the audience that's here and watching at home, and I'd also like to thank my fellow candidates for being willing to put their name into the ring to run for office. So I believe that one person really can make a difference. And my name is Jody Valancourt. I'm running for a 3-year seat on the Merrimack Town Council. I humbly ask for your vote on April 14th. It's time for a new voice in our town government, and I ask that you let me be your voice. My husband and I moved to Merrimack over 22 years ago. We've raised our family here. Both of my children have attended Merrimack schools. My youngest is graduating from high school this year, and a lot of this is about timing. When I stepped down from the school board 3 years ago, I promised my family that I wasn't going to run for any major office again until my youngest was out of school. It takes an incredible amount of time. So for those of you that have served, I respect that a great deal. But my son is graduating in June. I'm going to have some time on my hands, and I think my husband's probably looking forward to having me be busy instead of being an empty nester, driving him crazy, missing both of my children. So that's a little bit of an explanation about why I picked this year to run for town council. The rural character of Merrimack, its great school system, its close proximity to Boston, the ocean, and the mountains, help make it a town that I'm proud to call home. I'm no stranger to working as a volunteer or an elected official. I'm currently the chair of the Merrimack Road Runners Booster Club. I'm a member of the Merrimack Citizens for Pipeline Information. I've served on various town committees, such as the Master Plan Steering Committee, the Cable Advisory TV Committee, and Merrimack Safeguard. I've served on numerous school district committees, both as a citizen volunteer and as an elected official. I'm a past president and vice president of fundraising for the Welcome Wagon of Merrimack, which is what it was called 22 years ago. It's now Merrimack Friends and Family. I'm not afraid to roll up my sleeves and do the hard work that needs to be done to get the job done. As I stated before, I did serve 6 years on the Merrimack School Board from 2006 to 12. My entire second term, I served as chair. This experience has really helped me to understand how local government operates. I negotiated labor contracts in which the board was successful in garnering healthcare concessions that resulted in substantial cost savings. The last school district budget that I championed as chair of the board came in less than level funded for the first time that I can recall since moving to town. Maintaining the quality of life and that we currently enjoy in Merrimack is very, very important to me, but I will always, always keep the burden to the taxpayer in mind. As an elected official, I believe in respectful discourse and transparency. I will strive for effective and open communication with staff, fellow counselors, and constituents. I'm the only candidate running for the 3-year seat that has not previously served on the town council. I believe that a new perspective is healthy and necessary for effective government. I respectfully request that you allow me to bring this new perspective to the Town Council. Please vote for me on April 14th. I want to be the new voice. I want to be your new voice with proven leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jody. And last but by no means least, Lon Woods.
Thank you, Tom, and thanks to the Merrimack Business Association for their support of local businesses and for caring about elections and allowing us candidates to present ourselves. I am Lon Woods. Listening to everyone here, I'm at least sure I'm at the right place because Tom Main's sitting over there to my right, and for a good number of years, we've been on one side or the other of us at different forums, meetings, commissions, committees in town. I'm the youngest, oldest timer around in terms of the council. At the passing of Dave Yakubov, a good friend, a good public servant, I considered with my wife, Catherine, whether or not to make myself available to the council. I did. I was elected by the group, and I've enjoyed my service from mid-July until now, and am seeking a 3-year term to continue. Kathy and I raised our girls in town. They went to the Merrimack schools. We've just been blessed with the quality of life that Merrimack affords its citizens. I've been proud to work with school board, budget committee, charter commission, master plan advisory committee, the Merrimack Village District, which is the outfit that provides water for the town of Merrimack. We've been here 45 years. Most likely be here till God takes me home. And I would appreciate your vote on April 14th. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, Lon, and thank you, everyone, for your concise introductory remarks. And we'll now proceed into the sort of the main part of the thing. And I will ask these questions, and what I'll do is I'm going to mix up the order in which you answer just to try to keep it equitable, try to keep you on your toes, so you don't have the same person having to answer last every time. With that, let's get right into it. The first question, and I'll give Jody the opportunity to answer it first. There has been a lot of business growth in town in the last few years, including but not limited to the Outlet Mall and Atrium Medical. What ideas do you have to maintain or increase new business development in Merrimack for both small and large businesses?
Thank you, Tom. One thing I'd like to point out is, as private individuals, one thing that you can do, and that I practice and I encourage others and my family as well, is we patronize local businesses. We try to avoid major chain box stores whenever possible, and if that means I can't buy something on a weekend because my local shop is closed when it would be convenient for me, then I wait until it's open on a weekday. And I personally try to patronize the local businesses. We have a lot available to us right here in Merrimack without driving anywhere. So that's one thing that I do as an individual. As a town council member, I'm not sure that I don't think I'm smarter than anyone that's working for the town government right now or sitting on the board right now, and that I've got any crazy new ideas that somebody hasn't thought of already. But I think some of the things that we definitely need to continue to do is we need to make Merrimack a desirable place for people to live. And a lot of those people don't want to commute. You know, we were talking earlier about some of our commutes to and from work, and a lot of people don't want to commute. So I think continuing to, our low crime rate, our good school systems, those kinds of things, keeping the quality of life here in Merrimack so that people want to stay here and live, and that it would make it a better place for our employees to live as well. I think that's one thing we can do. One thing that I would like to pursue a little bit further that I haven't heard a lot about There's been some other very important issues that have come up in town. But when I was on the master plan committee, we talked a lot about mixed housing and mixed construction. And I know the airport access road, we had anticipated a lot more development on the northern end of town than has actually happened in the last 3 years. But I don't expect that it's going to stay this way. I know there's a new project that's on the books right now, and it sounds like there's going to be some mixed development. I've been following that. But I think a lot of what we are missing in Merrimack in particular is affordable housing for young people. And I think if we could keep our eye on the prize with that and continue the boards working together, the town council, our town staff, and our planning board, to continue to keep our eye on mixed building, mixed development, so that possibly we'd have some apartment rentals, affordable housing, things that we might be able to entice younger people to stay in Merrimack, that might be something that we're not currently doing that could help with the business climate in town. That's just one idea that I had. But I don't claim to have all the answers. When it comes to that, I certainly don't. But I would absolutely be open and respectful to anyone who came forward with concerns. And the other thing that I think we can always do a little bit better job at is getting back to people and responding to people in a timely fashion when they do come forward with a question or a concern regarding building or their business. So those are just some ideas that I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Jody. And next to answer, Tom Mahon. Would you like me to repeat the question briefly?
No,
or Okay,
no,
thank you, Tom.
not necessary. One of the major things that we undertook when I came on the council was to put an emphasis on economic development and broadening the tax base. We've done many things in over the time that I've been on the council to facilitate that. Enterprise zones, and significant changes in the community development department, personnel and practices and policies and how they operate, and the building department, the reorganization of the building department. We also made a concerted effort to try and develop and to attract businesses to the community. Remarkably, we're one of the more cores of innovation in this region. Nanocomp, BAE, and Atrium Medical, now Maquette, are all items in there. And these have a way of attracting other businesses and other interest in the community. And the other interest in the community is the fact, as many of us have said, is the quality of life we have here, the low crime rates that we have, the fact that we're one of the safest communities in the state of New Hampshire, if not the nation. Those quality of life issues are things that also attract businesses. When there was a lot of turmoil in town, when there was a lot of nastiness going on in town over the last 20 years, those kinds of things have a tendency to delay those kinds of development issues. And, during one phase of this process, people were actually saying to realtors, anywhere but Merrimack. I don't think that's the case now. We've done a very good job about keeping us on a level field, of maintaining a relatively stable tax rate, at least from the town side of the equation, and providing the services that are necessary to maintain that quality of life.
Thank you, Tom. Appreciate it. And next, Alex Parada, if you would address this question.
Sure, thank you. I think for maintaining and increasing business development, especially when considering the large and small businesses, it's important that we have a strong pool of workers. So when we have these large companies employing lots of people, they draw from our strong workforce here in Merrimack. By having a place for those people to shop, play, nice parks, have great school system, in order for those people to want to stay here and work here, we need to have those great things, and those people will shop at the small businesses. So we have this constant circle of the people patronizing the small businesses. They come here because Merrimack's a great place to live. They earn their money at the large corporations, and then they put it back into our town. So it's a continual process. I think it's no surprise to anyone. We have a lot of vacant storefronts. We have some boarded up windows up and down Route 3. And it's important to work with those business owners in order to find a way to get tenants in there, to find small businesses that will work in our community And that's really important to continuing that revolving model in order to make us a whole community. Thank you.
Thank you, Alex. And now your question, Mike Malzone.
Yeah, thanks a lot, Tom. Back in the days, 10 short years ago, it was a very difficult place to do business in Merrimack, and it was well known throughout southern New Hampshire. A big part of that was community development in this town, and that's been worked on, and the kinks have been taken out, and as you can see, it progressed the building that went on in Merrimack as far as businesses coming in. We also started the Merrimack Business Association to help foster small businesses in the town and an outlet for them to go. We were also fundamental in starting the Merrimack Business Expo, which was another outlet for businesses, large and small, in this town, to have a forum to meet personally the residents of Merrimack. And all of those I thought were very important for the growth of businesses in the town. Unfortunately, the town decided to go away from funding the Merrimack Business Expo, which I thought was a little disappointing, because I thought a $5,000 bill to give back to the businesses of Merrimack was a small price to pay considering the taxes that they're paying. Because for every small business that we lose in Merrimack, your property taxes are going to go up. So that's pretty unfortunate. But I think community development, as it started projecting at a great rate to keep everyone happy in town, but I'm getting the feeling from talking to some small businesses in town, we're starting to revert and go backwards. I've received a few complaints from small businesses and talking with them about registered letters from community development, about open and closed signs that were flashing on their front door. Small petty things like this does not help. There are easier ways to get around this and to help rectify these type of problems. I don't know how many people in the audience are a small business owner, rent a storefront or anything like that, or people watching that at home. It's very tough being a small businessman. You need help. You're not looking for handouts, but you're looking for help. When you just pay your rent $3,000 for the month and you get a registered letter from the town saying that we're going to fine you because your light flashes and your sign's only this big in your doorway, there's times where you almost want to throw up your hands and call it a day. But there's an outlet for people, and the town council should be one of them, and one of those areas that they should be able to stop if they're not getting help at community development. So that's another place that I'd like to take a look at again and see if we can remind employees in that community development themselves that you are customer service and you are here to help the businesses of the town. I'm a strong advocate for that, and I'd be happy to work with anybody, and if anyone has any questions about that, you can feel free to contact me afterwards. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. And now I address the question to Lon.
Thank you, Tom. Business growth in Merrimack, I've watched it ebb and flow. It's been alluded to. The late 70s and early 80s were about as exciting a time as I've been through. And then we had some downtime, and as it's been mentioned, the startup and the realization that we needed to attract more businesses didn't go all of that smoothly. It didn't go terribly roughly. It just wasn't that successful. But I've been aware in the last 3 or 4 years of the efforts of that Councilor Mahan mentioned of a group of people who took a look at community development, took a look at the climate that was out and about in the larger communities surrounding Merrimack, that we were a tough place in which to start and maintain new businesses. I had a chat with the community development director as recent as yesterday. He's enthusiastic about continuing growth, about continuing expansion. It is not rampant. It is not out of control, but it's certainly at least gives this person a bit of confidence that Merrimack's on the right track. My business sense, my business, if I'm reelected to the council, will be to continue the practices that I know have worked in recent years to make Merrimack a great place to do business. Thank you.
Thank you, Lon. And I now direct the question to Nancy.
Thank you very much. Actually, I like this question because feel very positive about what the council has done. We made it a specific goal to improve the climate within Merrimack to the businesses because we were aware of the reputation we had. One of the things we did is we moved the building department into the fire department. There's a lot of the process of starting a new business involves those two entities working together. And we've gotten a lot of compliments about how that has really streamlined the procedure. We've also, we've made an attitude adjustment that the community development is a service organization, and we are here to be able to elicit as much as we can cooperation with the people who are coming in. One of the things I'm really proud of is we're getting a lot of positive feedback from businesses. I went to the NanoComp expansion project, and literally the president came over and talked about how pleased he was and how happy he was regarding the ability of the town to be able to make the procedure so easy, and that we understood. Again, the fire department had to be involved. The building department was right there. And I know you had mentioned the empty storefronts. Well, some of those storefronts are going to be filled. The old Shaws, as people may or may not know, we're going to have an electric go-kart project in there, which is going to take up, it's going to take the whole Shaws and the CVS. As we all know, as soon as that's done, the other storefronts are going to start filling in too, because you're going to have that as a draw. We've recently been informed that Anheuser-Busch is adding another warehouse. I think it's 450,000 feet, or 50,000, whatever it is, which is kind of nice to know because there was a rumor of, are they going to stay or not stay? Well, they're staying if they're increasing that. So there's a lot of positive things that have happened directly as a result of the town council's attention to it. Some really good decisions were made. Another thing that the town needs to know, Eileen Cabanel has been a terrific town manager in this sense. Whenever a business comes in to talk about, are they interested, she literally walks downstairs to the community development and talks to that person. What can we do? What is it that we can do to help you? One final thing is, again, to be consistent with our goal of improving business relationships. You may or may have not have noticed that the town has a new website. We are in the process now of redesigning the community development, literally to engage businesses. It'll have such information as relocation services, links to government permitting processes, community profile and labor stats, where the empty properties are that you might want to consider, where's the empty land. So those, again, are very positive outreach trying to deal with this specific issue with businesses in town. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. And I direct the question next to Lynette, please.
Thank you, Tom. Merrimack's the perfect place to move your business. We have plenty of empty storefronts ready and waiting. The town council needs to work with the Chamber of Commerce, the Rotary Club, the zoning board, to make Merrimack attractive to the businesses. First of all, we need to loosen the grip and the red tape that companies have to go through for expansions and renovations. Make it easier for companies to expand and to relocate and to move in Merrimack, making it user-friendly. By doing this, companies will easily move in. The buildings are already there. We also need to try to keep the property tax at least at a stable rate. And unfortunately, that's more geared towards the school budget. But if the town council keeps their expenditures down, even if the school budget goes up, maybe the taxes wouldn't go up as high. But I think the main thing is to make it easy for companies moving in or even trying to expand. Make it as easy as easy as possible for them to do this. Don't add more expenses when they're trying to bring their company here.
Okay, thank you, Lynette. And Tom Koenig, you have the last word on this subject.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. You've heard a lot of responses. You've heard a lot of thoughts and a lot of very good actions, potential actions, and future actions that can be taken, all of which really lead to a couple of things that I really want to point out. I've been serving on the planning board most of the time that I've been on the town council and as the council's liaison. So I've worked on a lot of these projects from the mall to Atrium moving in to the development in North Merrimack. So I'm aware of many of the things that are going on. But one of the biggest advantages that we've had in the time that I've been on the town council was hiring Eileen Cabanel as our town manager. As Nancy alluded to, she has a very good business savvy about her that allows her to communicate with and reach out to those businesses that are either in town or thinking about coming to town to try and help develop. She's been in on quite a few different projects in both North and South Merrimack, some that have come to fruition and some that haven't. And you know when you speak to her how it burns her when we lose one. There was a great opportunity for a manufacturing company who decided ultimately to stay where they were in another part of New Hampshire. It would have been a beautiful thing to come into town. But that doesn't stop her, and it doesn't stop our community development department that the town council is excited to have in place, that Eileen Cabanel again has put in place. Tim Thompson and his crowd of people that are working down there have gotten accolades over the past couple of years from businesses developing in town for their professionalism, their smoothness, and things of that nature. All of those things are things that we as a town council are trying to help promote and push. It's on Eileen's annual review to continue to reach out to businesses, which she does extremely well, and so we're very glad to have her there. But continuing to make it a positive environment for us, moving the building department in to the fire department in order to make that synergy work out has proven very well. And just as a side comment, I mean, I wasn't here when Anheuser-Busch came to town, but I heard there was a lot of flack and turmoil, people that didn't want it, it would ruin our town. I was here when the outlet mall came to town, and while there's some people that are still very upset about it, most people can hardly tell it's there. In fact, some of the businesses in town are complaining that they don't get any of the side business that they were kind of hoping for because it's so easy on and off and stuff like that. So continuing to develop these programs in a way that maintains Merrimack's character but allows us to build our tax base and build our job base and our employment base are all good things that we're doing to help continue to develop in Merrimack.
Okay, thank you, Tom, and thank you all of you for your answers to that question. And moving on to the next one, this is a question that I will direct first to Lon. In recent years, some of the high-profile warrant articles have been related to pay-as-you-throw for trash disposal, new fire station, and the new highway garage. Now, none of these items has been implemented due to the results of ballot voting, but as briefly as possible, where do you stand on each of these three issues?
Wow, brief. No. The pay-as-you-throw program was one that I was more directly involved in than you might think, because at the time I was the scale operator / secretary for the DPW department out there at the transfer station. I was captive for 8 hours a day, 5 days a week, and I heard every argument and nuance and whatever there was to know about pay-as-you-throw, to the point that I got permission from my boss and went online and looked up several successful programs, several programs that hadn't been quite as successful, and came to the conclusion, after looking at the budget figure for solid waste disposal in Merrimack, that we hadn't struck a good enough deal with any outside vendors or any outside outfits that may have been interested enough to offer suggestions or quote unquote help with pay-as-you-throw.
Lon, I don't want to rush this through, but I'm just doing it as my job, running it.
Give me.
If we go with, I'm going to finish my thing. If we go with everyone tackling all three facets and going 10 minutes, that'll be the last question. What we were looking for this is just where is your feel right now as we stand here in 2015? And I don't like getting up, but I'm just saying if we tackle each one, we are going to be leaving at 8:30, and this may be our last question.
Can I have 30 seconds?
You can have as long as you want. This is the last time I'm coming to the mic, but I'm just letting everyone know we're looking for where do you stand on those three issues, and then move on.
Pay as you throw. I think the town was given the opportunity to vote for it. Their sense at the time was it wasn't an idea that had been fleshed out enough. No on pay as you throw. Still no today for me. The new fire station, I understand there's funding that came to us through the efforts to bring the outlet mall in town. I think it's a program that should go forward. The new highway garage, I'm on record as saying that I'll be encouraging the council, if I'm still in the seat, to bring that forward again this coming tax year. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lon. And next we'll have Lynette address the question.
Thank you, Tom. The way I see it, if you don't have it, don't spend it. No new bonds until the old bonds are paid off. Why add expenses to already taxed citizens? End of question. End of answer.
Thank you, Lynette.
You're
Very
welcome.
concise answer. And next, Tom Koenig, please.
Thank you. I work extensively with the pay-as-you-throw program, and even though I am a member, a user of the transfer station and would be directly affected, I think pay-as-you-throw is a program that we need to understand how to implement. Whether we will implement that or not, probably not, but we need to understand how to best pay for getting rid of trash in Merrimack, whether we have individual haulers do it or not. The fire station is critical, I think, to the town of Merrimack to continue to provide the service that Merrimack expects and needs, and so I support that program. And the DPW garage, I think, is critical to us to be able to continue to manage and maintain and support the services that Merrimack needs. It's dilapidated. It needs replacement. It's something that I truly wished would have passed last year, and I'm sure we're going to be seeing it come back. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. And your answer to the question, Alex.
So for pay-as-you-throw, mic's on. There we go. Thank you. So pay-as-you-throw, like the others said, the voters, voted it down. No on pay-as-you-throw. A new fire station. I think not only do we need a new fire station, we need more fire hydrants in Merrimack. I am a certified firefighter, and it's really disheartening to know that I don't have protection by a fire hydrant at my house. A new highway garage, not at this time.
Okay, thank you, Alex. And next, Jody, your answer, please.
Thank you, Tom. As a town councilor, I'd have a hard time continually putting something forward that the people have voted a resounding no against. And I think pay-as-you-throw, the people were pretty loud and clear that they weren't in favor of pay-as-you-throw. I, of course, would be open to, if someone came through with new ideas, to implement it in better ways that might be more palatable to people in town. I absolutely would be open-minded to it, but I think people pretty much made it clear that they were voting no on that. So the fire station, I also believe there's going to be a need. I know we have funding for that. I think that, along with the highway garage, the challenge for the town council, again, is going to be to come up with a project that the people in town will support. I think they're both necessary projects. I'm not sure. I spent some time looking at both of the proposals that came forward when they were presented for us to vote on, but I think possibly some of the problem with especially the highway garage was with the bonding and the funding, as Lynette stated. So I think there's maybe a little bit more work that we could do on the town council in order to help make the people more comfortable with something like that. But in the near future, I don't think we're really in a position to put something like that forward without a little bit more work. Thank you.
Okay, Jody, thank you. And your thoughts, Tom Mahon.
Sure. Pay-as-you-throw was, as they said, resoundingly defeated. I wouldn't do anything with it unless it came from a grassroots effort to implement the program. There could be a substantial savings to the community, but the other issues that are involved were the things that really killed it. New fire station, the station in the south end of town is in deplorable condition. We're constantly pouring money in it to try and renovate it. or to repair it. At some point, we're going to have to make the decision to go forward with it. However, we are doing the due diligence and dealing with the tax issues and the tax burden in the community, and that's why you're not seeing a highway garage this year, because we took that into consideration when we were dealing with that, and we're taking another hard look at it as to the cost of it and the impact that it will have on the tax rate before we bring anything forward. I want to remind people that both the fire station and the highway garage did get a majority vote, but it didn't get the necessary 2/3 for the bond. Okay, so there is support there for it, but I think there's still some concern about the financial issues, and the council's acutely aware of those financial issues when we're dealing with these kinds of issues. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Next up, Mike.
Thank you, Tom. Pay as you throw? Absolutely not. I fought that like crazy. I was one of the lead voices in defeating that. I think it's one of the best bang for the buck in this town. It's very efficiently run, our transfer station. No matter what we all do, we're going to have trash and we have to dispose of it. And I think they're doing a great job up there. I don't think anyone could do anything cheaper than what we have up there. Fire station and the highway garage, two things that are in need. Unfortunately, I think the way that we're going about it is wrong, as opposed to just putting it on the ballot like that. I think it's been quite some time since I've actually seen a ballot initiative about a capital improvement plan. And I think it would be an easier sell to the residents if we asked them about a capital improvement plan for that and saved up a little bit of money for that before we spent it, because I think the way that we're coming out of this recession now isn't something we should jump on right now. But I think that we could sell it to the residents a little bit out of time, so that 4 years from now, 3 or 4 years from now, we could have a good chunk of change put aside for that, and it wouldn't be such an impact on the tax rate.
Hey, thank you, Mike. And last but not least, Nancy, your thoughts?
Pay as you throw, no. New fire station, eventually, not in terms of priority, but we're going to have to, especially if we continue to grow. And as Tom Mahan said, that southern fire station is horrible, but we're trying to make do. So sometime in the future we'll have to. And I have to turn on my mic. Sorry about that. The third thing is in terms of the highway garage. It's going to have to be done. Now, whether it be next year or a couple years from now, if we wait a couple years, we're going to have to put money in. That is an unsafe place for people to work. And so we're going to have to invest some money somewhere, even if it's to upgrade it somehow for safety. So I would prefer that we look at the plan again, which we intend to do, perhaps do a better job of explaining how the bonding work or doesn't work. Another year or two when those bonds go out, and in reality, it really was a good deal, but we apparently didn't do a very good job explaining it. So we're going to have to do a better job of explaining that, in fact, it's not two bonds. As one bond is finishing, the other one is starting, and it would be like a one-year whack. But anyway, I think that's where our priority has to be, in the parking garage.
Okay, thank you, Nancy, and thank you, everyone, for your answers to that question. And I'd like to direct this next one to Alex first. This is regarding the library. Your thoughts on how you feel the library adds to the quality of life in Merrimack, and do you feel that the bottom line budget number for the library is adequate for a town the size of Merrimack?
I think the library, it does add to the quality of life in Merrimack in the sense that it's a great place to meet. I think with any library in the 21st century, it's hard to keep libraries relevant. We need to not only, keep our kids engaged with books, but we need to provide other opportunities of learning with, computers, new technology, iPads. So keeping a library relevant involves technology. So as a great place to meet, hopefully a harbinger of, great new technology at the library. As far as the bottom line budget, I know that in one of the previous meetings where we agreed on the town budget, there was some questions as to whether or not, there was enough pay going around the library. I don't know too much about that at the moment, but I'm going to research that some more and hopefully have some better thoughts on that at a later time.
Okay, thank you, Alex. Nancy, your thoughts on the library?
Sure. I think we have to give some kudos to Yvette Kaiser, who's the new director. She's done. The same thing happens during the council meetings. They always have to tell me. Anyway, I need to give kudos to Yvette Kaiser, who's the new director, new being, 3 years now. She really has enhanced the technology, the 21st century focus of the library. And I think that has really dramatically enhanced usage of the library, especially the younger generation. They've also increased a lot of the things that are going on there, the different programs. So I give kudos to that. Now, as time goes on, there may in fact be some things that need to be enhanced even more. And she will come before the council, and if in fact she can justify the increase in budget, I see no reason why not. But she's done a really good job up to now. A lot of changes have been made, and it's been budget neutral. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Nancy. Moving on next to you, Tom Mahon.
Sure. Yes, the library does add to the quality of life in the town. One of the former positions I held was chair of the Library Space Needs Review Committee between 2000 and 2004. And one of the things that it became apparent very quickly was how much of a meeting point it was, both for the new residents in town especially, and the old residents in town. A place to get information and to meet other people. I was encouraging them then to broaden out their technology issues. Unfortunately, at the time, it was like it was pulling teeth, and I departed the committee. Do I feel, and as Nancy has said, they have improved significantly in how they're leveraging their budgets and the technology to provide better services and make themselves more relevant in the 21st century. Do I think their budget number is adequate? It is. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Next, Tom Koenig.
Thank you. How do I feel the library adds to the quality of life in Merrimack? I believe, as has been pointed out, it's a great meeting place. It's a great source of information. It's still in a lot of people's mind the place you would go to find out what's going on either around town, around your social life, around your world. They have periodicals, they have newspapers, they have books. Strange things that we don't see as many of anymore these days because of technology. But the library, I think, is a critical piece in a community because it's still that harbinger of information. And as such, it brings a quality of life to Merrimack that we need to continue to maintain. Is the budget adequate? For what we have right now, yes, I believe the budget is adequate. Do we need a new library? I would love to see a new library in town, expanded in services and in opportunities. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Next, Mike, your thoughts on the library.
Always, every community needs a every community needs a library. It's essential to new families moving into town. It's the first place you bring the kids down to get acquainted with the other younger kids before you go into school. I mean, what would a town be without one? It's in the center of your town. It's a necessity. Do I think the budget is adequate? I do. I've always thought they've done a nice job down there. I've had difference of opinions on certain things that go down there, but I was always very respectful of Janet, who was running it, Janet Angus at the time, who was running it, and who did have a health issue and is doing well. God bless her. You got to have it in town. As far as it expanding or getting larger or building a new one, that's for the people of the town to decide. I have not looked at this year's budget for the library itself. But for the most part, it's always been right where it should be for the size of it and for the use that it's getting. But it's something that we cannot do without in the town. As far as priorities are concerned, it depends on who you speak with. From 1 to 10, it's definitely in there. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mike. And moving on, Lon, your thoughts? Good.
Yes, the library adds to the quality of life. I'll give you a little anecdote. I was invited there to meet some of the staff and make sure they were, running the library. I was looking around and noticed that there's a gorgeous old clock over there, and beside the clock were some business cards for a fellow who takes care of clocks of that nature in Merrimack. Guess what? I now have a contact for a Mano clock that hasn't operated for a number of years. Quality of life, it is certainly there, and for all the reasons that the other people mentioned. I've only participated in one round of budgets that had to do with working with the library budget. It was rather lively, but I have watched over the years from the TV audience that I hope is watching tonight. And yes, the budget has proven adequate as we've moved through several changes in the way the library operates. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lon. And next, Jody, your thoughts.
Thank you, Tom. For reasons that everyone else here has already mentioned, I too feel that the library is an invaluable resource to the town for so many reasons. And I, like the other candidates here tonight, agree that the new director has been very creative and very effective with her uses and all of the staff's uses of the budget that's been allotted to them. I think over the years, the library budget has been very contentious during budget discussions. I haven't been privy to that, not having sat on the board, nor have I been that intimately involved with the library. I'm not sure why that particular budget seems to take a lot of heat every year. I would definitely be interested, and I'm not sure that there's anything that we could do to avoid the kind of discussion, nor that it really needs to be avoided, the kind of discussion regarding the salaries. I think it's within everyone's right to come forward and request more money if they show data and the information to support their request. I think everyone has an absolute right to come voice their opinions and their concerns and propose changes to the budget during a deliberative session like we had. But I think if I were to be elected, I'd like to take a little bit closer look, have some more conversations, because it just seems like that is one area during budget discussions that there's a little bit of heated controversy around every year, and whether it's necessary, you can avoid it or not, I really don't know. But I think it's a great resource in town, and I've been really, really impressed at what they've been able to accomplish with their budget. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Jody. And the final word I give to Lynette.
Thank you. Town libraries have always been important. Children get excited when they go down to get their first library card and check out their first book. Unfortunately, times are changing. More people get books online. Encyclopedias can be accessed online. I think right now, expanding the library would be an added expense to taxpayers that are already taxed. Right now, it's adequate. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lynette. Now, this next question is a pretty substantial question. It's a two-part question. And what we'd like each of you to do is try to limit your answer to about 3 minutes in the interest of time. Now, having said that, understanding that there are a lot of details that need to come forward, conceptually, are you for, against, or still undecided when it comes to the proposed Kinder Morgan pipeline? And with that in mind, keeping federal, state, and town statutes in mind, what do you think should be the town council's role in the proposed pipeline? I'll repeat it, and I'd like to address it to Mike first. Again, understanding that there are a lot of details that are still needed, are you for, against, or still undecided on the topic of the Kinder Morgan pipeline? And what do you think should be the town council's role in the proposed pipeline, keeping federal, state, and town statutes in mind?
Yeah, thanks, Tom. First off, I know that something of that magnitude, the town council really can't make something happen with that, but you can certainly ruffle feathers with that. First off, as far as the Kinder Morgan gas line is concerned, to me it has nothing to do with the gas. It has to do with eminent domain. I take that very personal. Landowners, right, my grandfather always told me, hey, don't be buying stocks, you should buy land. Buy a piece of land that you can stand on and always hold on to that Whether you develop it or not, you can go out into the woods, you can stand on your land, and that dirt will always be underneath your feet. Here's the problem with this progress that this process is taking on. You're looking at just taking people, the possibility of taking people's land from them in this town of Merrimack over a gas line. It has nothing to do with whether I like the gas, whether we need the gas or not. I'm all for far more sources of energy in New Hampshire, because believe it or not, whether Al Gore tells us the earth is warming, it's going to be cold here every winter, so we do need some type of all sources of energy to warm us up here. But eminent domain touches a raw nerve in my body. And if you look around this room up here tonight, if there's anyone that you would like standing in your front yard helping you protect that land, would be me, and I'm asking you to vote for me for that reason. It could happen, and you don't want that to happen, but what could the town council do? The town council could draft a letter to the state, to the feds, to this Kinder Morgan, with thousands of signatures of the town's residents themselves, and send it forward saying that we're not in favor of this. Even though the town council does not have the power to say, hey, you can or cannot do that, we can make things difficult for them. As people know, the town council has made things difficult for other situations. I'm sure that they could make it that much more difficult for Kinder Morgan. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mike. And next on this question, your thoughts, Lon, on the pipeline.
A 36-inch pipeline, proposed route 4 miles through Merrimack. They talk about co-location with a right-of-way with PSNH on a 40, whatever, huge kilowatt line. Keep in mind, when we finally nailed down what co-location meant, it meant alongside, which means Mike has a point in terms of they will have an interest in land in Merrimack. Kinder Morgan comes to town March 26th for a meeting. And I'm going to give my express kudos to Nancy Harrington for recognizing up front and stating very clearly to the council, to the residents of Merrimack, Kinder Morgan has nothing more to say to the council, which they had asked to do. Just meet with the council, cozy, and then we'll go away. Nancy Harrington had the foresight to say, no, you meet with all the residents and you tell them all up front what you're about. I became aware of Kinder Morgan a little earlier than some other people, again, through my role as an MVD commissioner, because in April of 2014, we received a letter that they wanted to put a pipeline through our sanitary circles for well 7 and 8, which we said no, and DES backed us up. You just don't get into the sanitary circle. I can't get in there without having a reason to watch someone do mechanical work. At any rate, during that same month of April, they had a meeting in Hollis, Kinder Morgan. I was asked to attend. I attended. I didn't come away with the most positive impression of Kinder Morgan. For me, the question was and has always been, why such a large pipe for such a small amount of gas that we need to burn in New England, whether it be power plants or expanded residential or business. It isn't up to Lon Woods. It isn't up to Mike Malzone or any one of us as individuals. But this is Woods versus the KM proposal as I sit here tonight. I have no problem with the town council's actions to this point. I've been part and parcel to helping them take those actions. But ask me today, I don't want any Kinder Morgan. Ask me tomorrow, I don't want any Kinder Morgan. Ask me the next day, I don't want any Kinder Morgan, period. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lon. Next to answer the question will be Alex.
I think Kinder Morgan is a definite no. For many reasons we mentioned here, the eminent domain. There's wells that are in the way of this pipeline. They're tearing up new land. There's some nature area where it would just be a really poor decision. We won't see 1 cubic foot of this gas here in Merrimack. So For those reasons, I think that I'm definitely against the Kinder Morgan pipeline. As far as what the town council can do, the town council, they're the leaders, they're the figural leaders of the community. They can stand with the community. They can use their voice to say no, to say Merrimack is not, is not interested in your pipeline, not today and not tomorrow. So, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alex. And next, Nancy, your thoughts?
Certainly. Obviously, it has been a major issue within Merrimack for a little while. I do take great pride, thank you, Lon, for the council. All of us did that, taking a stand from the very beginning that there were not going to be any backdoor meetings or information, that whatever they had to say to us, they could say to the public. Of course, they weren't very happy about that and basically said, well, we won't see you for a little while. But they are going to be coming the 26th, which is this Thursday. And I would encourage everybody to attend that. I also take great pride in the town council really taking responsibility for informing the public. That's where our role was, to make sure that everyone is aware of what's going on in town. And it's not just the southern part of Merrimack that's an issue, it's the entire town. And that's why we voted to send that postcard to every resident, not just every property owner. Every mailbox in Merrimack got a postcard notifying and hopefully emphasizing the need for people to come. That's going to be a very important meeting. In my personal opinion, Kinder Morgan has a lot of talking to for me. They're going to have to, I'm not in favor of it unless they do some magic trick. And I don't think that's going to happen. So they, final decision will be that night, but they have a lot of talking to change my mind. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nancy. Next, your thoughts, Lynette?
Thank you. Right now, as it stands, I'm still undecided. I'm still weighing out the pros and the cons, and I'm definitely going to the meeting on the 26th to get my questions answered. The problem with New Hampshire, we have the 5th highest energy rate in the country. Manufacturing and high-tech companies who use a lot of electricity will pay 40% more by moving to New Hampshire than they would any other state. The pipeline proposed to go through southern New Hampshire may not benefit Merrimack, but if it's exported overseas, that'll help the seacoast communities. But again, it doesn't help Merrimack. And right now, for a company to move in, it's going to be 40% more for a high-tech company. I read a quote this morning from Charlie Arlinghouse, and it said, "It's easy to oppose change in short term, but that requires accepting stagnation." Stagnation's not going to help Merrimack or New Hampshire. The town council, I don't think, has a role to play in this at all. The decision should be made by every voter, every resident of Merrimack. I live in what's called the incineration zone. I mean, I live in South Merrimack. I'm almost in Amherst. My decision, in my opinion, is going to be different than someone in the north end of Merrimack. Anyone that has a gas stove or heats their house with gas, you live in an incineration zone. So there's a lot to consider. Like I said, every voter needs to go to the meeting on the 26th, and every voter needs to voice their opinion, and it's the whole town that should make the decision, not the town council.
Okay, thank you, Lynette. And next to answer will be Tom Mahon.
Thank you. I'm opposed to the pipeline. And I sit as the Conservation Commission representative to the council. And we've been working with the Conservation Commission for the last 3 years on a bunch of issues involving the lands that we have. The properties that are being most greatly impacted are conservation properties. And we're the owner. And so there is a role for the council to play in this. And that is to make sure that Kinder Morgan is aware in excruciating detail about the environmental issues that are involved with wetlands, water quality, fragile habitats, endangered species, and a host of other issues that are involved from an environmental standpoint. The likely issue here is that actually Merrimack is a wall between them and getting across the river because of the route that they have to take to get through here is exactly 400 feet wide. And that's the only route they have. Even though this is a proposed route, the route could change at some point for whatever reason. They're being required by FERC to provide alternatives for every route. So it's very difficult, going to make it difficult for them. But there are those issues that are involved in there with those environmental issues, which is actually the only place we have to hang our hat under the National Environmental Policy Act. They have to comply with that. If they can't comply with it, the pipeline goes nowhere. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Tom. Your thoughts now, Tom Koenig.
Thank you. It is a hot button topic, and it's made more so by the emotionality that's been brought into it. References to incineration zones and things of that nature just bring out a lot of emotion and suddenly start making people think they have some opportunity to be for or against something like this. Unfortunately, I personally am against it. The town council has almost no say in whether it goes in or not, but we can do what we are doing and make sure that Kinder Morgan has all the information that they need and that FERC has all the information they need from an environmental impact and a human impact and an economic impact and all those things that FERC is going to take into account when they realize whether or not they're going to allow this pipeline project to go forward. But the federal government has decided that things of this nature, which deal with energy, which deal with regions, have to be decided from a regional perspective, not from an individual state, and certainly not from an individual town perspective. And so we'll do the best we can to make sure the right information is out there. But it's going to be up to us as a community to make sure that the government regulatory agencies involved are aware of all of the impacts and aspects of what's going on. So I'm opposed, but I don't know that the town council can do much more than it's doing right now in trying to make sure that information is available.
Okay, thank you, Tom. And the final candidate to answer is Jody on this question.
Thank you, Tom. Try to put all my thoughts, information, emotions, opinions into very short, concise statements because, as I stated, I am a member of the Merrimack Citizens for Pipeline Information, and there are a lot of very bright, hardworking volunteers in this town that are doing an incredible job with due diligence in gathering information and trying to work in concert with the town council and the Conservation Commission and the Water District. We've been trying really hard to be a support because there's just so much information out there and things to learn that it takes an entire village, and that's, I know it's a corny statement, but that's a fact. This pipeline is not needed. It's not necessary. Do not buy into the constant rhetoric that Kinder Morgan is putting out there about the energy crisis in New Hampshire. New Hampshire has a long-term energy plan for the state, and a 36-inch high-pressured transmission line for profit of Kinder Morgan is not in its plan. So there are other pipeline projects out there, and those use already in place infrastructure, existing infrastructure. There have been 2 of those projects that have already been approved by FERC that will bring more gas to the New England region. So this project is not necessary. A couple of other things that I would just like to mention. I think asking what the role of the town council is a really, really good question, because I too believe that the town council has a very important role. And honestly, I think people really felt they were receiving a lot of pushback when they originally came to the town council with their concerns. And I think we finally are on the right track. I'm very appreciative of some of the measures that the town council has taken, but one of the most important things is communication. Our town council is responsible for communicating to everyone in town what's going on with this pipeline. And I know there were some individual members of town and the Merrimack citizens that pushed for that postcard. And I'll tell you guys, we have heard from so many people that have said that's the first they've heard of it. So thank you so much for sending out that postcard, because I think that was huge. The other thing that I think is the role of our town council is to protect our resources. The role is to protect what we have here in land, and I cannot stress enough the potential effects that this could have on our drinking water. on our conservation land and people's private property. We don't have a legal obligation, but I really feel we have a moral obligation to the people in town whose homes are going to be affected by this. And yes, it does evoke a lot of emotion, Tom, when your family's safety is at risk. You're looking at your property values plummeting. I mean, good luck selling your home if this transmission line is in your backyard. So I believe that it's the town council, how much legal authority we have, but we have moral obligation to support the private landowners in town as well. And I think that the work that they're doing now in conjunction, I'm thrilled that we've got an attorney. I think that was another really positive step that we took toward getting legal advice, because there's a lot of legal information that we need to understand. So in closing, I would just say that Merrimack, basically, we're going to take on all the risk with what I see as no benefit at all. People mistakenly believe that we're going to be able to get new hookups from this pipeline, and that's not going to be the case now or in the very near future either. So you can write to FERC, send in your comments. And the other thing, the meeting on Thursday is very important, but the town council has requested, and I think it's a really good idea, that people write to FERC requesting a scoping meeting take place in Merrimack. And the more people that do that, the better chance we get of having that happen. And the FERC needs to hear from the people of Merrimack. That's who really needs to hear from us. So thanks for allowing me the time. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you, Jody, and thank you all for your answers. That was our final issue-related question. And with that, we move on to closing remarks. And we'd like each of you to limit your remarks to just 1 minute. We will start with Lon and proceed counterclockwise through Nancy. So your closing remarks, 1 minute or less, Lon.
Thank you, and thanks again to the Merrimack Business Association for providing us the opportunity to present ourselves to you this evening. What should compel you to vote for Lon Woods for council for 3 years? Experience, mentioned the Budget Committee, School Board, Master Plan, Charter Commission. Commitment, just my being there through those, through service on those committees. Assurance from me that your vote for Woods is a vote for reasoned judgment in all the matters that come through the council. We've heard most recently about the other issue about the pipeline, about emotions. Emotions are wonderful when you need them. They're terrible when you use them in the wrong place. I try to refrain from that at the council. To reiterate, vote Woods. You vote for reasoned judgment. Vote Woods, you get experience and commitment. And please vote April 14th. Vote Woods. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Lon. And next, Jody Valancourt.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you again to the Business Association for this opportunity, and good luck to all the candidates here tonight. I, too, respectfully request that you consider voting for me, Jody Valancourt, for Town Council. I'm going for a 3-year seat. Voting takes place on Tuesday, April 14th. I have a website that I'd like to point you to for some more information and an ability to contact me. It's www.votejody, and that's jody.net. My home phone number is 718-1877. I'd be happy to chat with anybody who has more questions for me or would like me to expand on any of the things I stated here tonight. A new voice, proven leadership. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Jody. Next, Alex Parada, your closing remarks.
Thank you. I'd like to say the town council is really just a small part of making this community great. There's a lot of great committees and boards that put in a lot of selfless time in order to make this community the great community it is. I'd like to remind everybody this Thursday night at James Mastrocola at the Multi-Purpose Room, 8 p.m. We have that meeting with Kinder Morgan. Be there and show your let's show them what Merrimack's about and let them know that we're not for this pipeline. In closing, thank you all. There'll be lots of great signs. If you all saw the last council meeting, we've got some great signage coming up for the elections to remind you to get out there and vote on April 14th. So come vote. Write your name in for something if you'd like to even. So there's still some openings on that ballot. So come vote April 14th. Thanks, everybody. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Alex. Lynette Peterson.
Thank you, Tom, and the Business Association, and good luck to everyone that's running. Again, I've never served on a board or a council. I'm a new set of eyes. I'm fresh ideas, and I think I'm the best candidate for the position. And I ask that you support me with your vote and let me prove to you that you made the right decision. If you have any questions, please do not hesitate to call me at 429-9544, or you can email me at lynette.peterson@gmail.com. And Lynette is spelt with an E, all 3 E's. Again, I thank you for your time and for considering me for the one-year term and for the town council, and election is on April 14th. Thank you.
Thank you, Lynette. Mike Malzone.
Yeah, thanks, Tom. I'm running for the 3-year seat for town council. I'm asking for your vote. I will work extremely hard for you. I am a fighter. I help the people fight for the zoning against the zoning change on Wire Road. I helped fight for the residents up on Hillcrest for the sound barrier that were denied by the state. I've also fought for the exclusion of Spanish signs down there at Wasserman Park, and I'd be happy to help fight for the residents against this gas line that's going in. I'm all about transparency. For the record, while I was on the town council for 3 years, I consistently voted no to go into non-public. I do believe all the public's business should be done in the public, and I've always worked that way. So again, I'm asking for your vote on Election Day. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Tom Mahon.
Thank you. I would appreciate your vote on April 14th for the one-year seat. I will continue to support policies that maintain Merrimack as one of the safest communities to live, work, and raise your family in, and also to assist in enhancing the quality of life, stabilizing the town portion of the tax rate, improve and maintain the town's infrastructure, and broaden the tax base. I've got a lot of experience that I've brought to the table that I apply that gets applied constantly, and most of you that have watched the council meetings have seen that. I'm just asking for the opportunity to continue to serve the town as I have for the past number of years. Good evening.
Thank you, Tom. Tom Koenig.
Thank you, and thank you, Tom, for your efforts. Thank you to the Merrimack Business Association and all of you folks here at the table running for a council seat. To the town of Merrimack, you may agree or disagree with some of the things that you've heard here. You may agree or disagree with things that you've heard me say, but I ask you to look at my record, look at what I've been doing over the past many years for Merrimack, and think about honesty and integrity and whether or not the candidate has a particular axe to grind or a particular process or problem they're trying to solve, whether it's personal or not. I would like to continue to do the work that I've been doing to support Merrimack, to help things to improve in Merrimack, and I ask you to come out and support me on April 14th and vote for me for a 3-year term. Thank you.
Thank you, Tom. And last but not least, Nancy Harrington.
First of all, again, thank you for having this forum, and thank all of the candidates for being involved with this as well. I am asking for your vote for re-election to the town council for a 3-year term. I've had the honor of being in that position for the last 3 years, learned a lot. I'm proud of every single vote I've ever taken. I feel like I have a lot of integrity. I feel like I like civil, disciplined discourse. I don't mind people disagreeing with me. I think that's healthy. There has to be diversity. The town is diverse, so should the representation be. But in all that, and even when you do that, you can be respectful, and I think that's what's happened. I am proud of the fiscal conservative stance that's occurred in the town. In 2010, the town portion rate was $5.25. This past year, it's $5.46. How many places can say, with all the things that have gone in town, how well that has done? So I think that I'm proud of that. I'm proud of the council for doing that. So again, having transparency is an important characteristic I think is important for all town offices, and I believe I have demonstrated that. So thank you very much again, and I ask for your vote respectfully on April 14th. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Nancy, and thank you to all 8 of you for participating and for your excellent answers. And I'd now like to turn the podium over to Phil Straight of the Merrimack Business Association. Phil has a few remarks. Phil?
Thank you, Tom. First, I'd like to thank Dave to put this together. He's the guy that always picks the day and says, let's do it now or it'll get put off. I thank Dave very much for putting this together. And naturally, I thank everybody that steps up to the plate. You know, they have my sincere support. I wish good luck to all of you. I know as a state rep, I know how difficult decisions can be. And the more decisions you make, the more chances are somebody who's going to disagree. That's just the way it is. And that's why the Merrimack Business Association reaches out to the community. But we want you to do two things. The people at home, people here, we'd really like you to do two things. Come out and support your community. You can find a committee or commission that will suit your interests and your abilities. You'll find something that you like. And we ask everybody, please support your local businesses. Thanks everybody for attending.